All right, welcome back to the channel. So Gervonta Davis, according to critics, is ducking Teofimo Lopez and Devin Haney because he's jumping to 140 pounds to fight Mario Barrios. Is it a duck? Not quite sure, but let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So yesterday, Showtime Boxing released their schedule, and I'm telling you, man, I love the schedule. Love it a lot. It is a great, man, it's just a lot of really good American fighters over the period of maybe about 4 months. You have a lineup maybe 3 weeks in a row where you get, I do believe, either Jamal Charlo, then Gervonta Davis versus Mario Barrios. And then after that, you get Chris Colbert against Yuriorkis Gamboa, which is a really good up-and-coming fighter against, a guy that is a gatekeeper and has been a gatekeeper for some guys. But, I mean, for the last several fights. But all in all, man, with Rigondeaux fighting, Jamal, man, it's just, I really, really like it. There's not a lot of fights that stand up as like, big mega fights. However, as far as fights that'll get me watching and have me watching Showtime and happy that I'm paying for my Showtime subscription, I am getting more than enough, more than my money's worth out of my subscription fees to Showtime for this card that I'm getting. I think that the value is absolutely excellent, dude, because like I said, it's 4 months of just excellent fights. And that's coming off of Jaron Ennis fight. But some people are saying they don't like the card, blah, blah, blah. But really, when you compare it to ESPN's fight schedule and you compare it to DAZN's fight schedule, there's no comparison. This is just, it may not have, every fight having big marquee names in it, but all of these fights have good competitive fights, or they're a fight with a big name guy that is coming off of a big fight that is getting, just a run-of-the-mill fight, which happens in boxing. The one fight, though, that there is, criticism being made about that I think may be reasonable is the one about Gervonta Davis. Gervonta Davis is going to be fighting. I said farting. My bad. Fighting, and I'm not editing that out. Fighting Mario Barrios for, I do believe, the WBA regular 140-pound title. Now, why it says it's a championship fight, in actuality, I wouldn't really consider it that, because the champion, the WBA champion at that weight class, is Josh Taylor out of the UK. And he's going to be fighting Jose Ramirez for a unification fight. So when those guys get that fight done, that is going to be the guy that's the champion in that weight division. It's not going to be Gervonta Davis. And you can also say the same thing about Gervonta Davis's title, because he owns the same title, the WBA regular, at 135 pounds. So, I can understand why somebody would say, look, Gervonta has a real belt at 130. He doesn't have a real belt at 135, and he doesn't have a real belt and he's not fighting for a real belt at 140. Dude, why don't you just fight the guys that are champions in those weight classes? Why don't you fight Teofimo Lopez? Why don't you fight Devin Haney? Those guys are both very, very good fights in your weight class. And there's a lot of people that would say that Teofimo Lopez would win the fight. Some people think Devin Haney would win the fight, right? Ryan Garcia, I don't think is ready for him, but, he's a name that's there too. So there's all kind of things you can do, at 135 pounds. So really, I could see why people would say, yeah, man, this may be a duck. Whether it is a duck or not, I can't say, because honestly, there's not really anything for Gervonta to do for this fight that he has at 135 pounds. Teofimo Lopez already has a fight. He's fighting Kambosos. Devin Haney already has a fight. He's fighting Jorge Linares. Ryan Garcia already has a fight. He's fighting Javier Fortuna. So even if you're saying, well, he's ducking these guys, is he really? You know what I'm saying? Is he really? Because all those guys at that weight already have another fight. And Gervonta Davis has also had a problem with his weight. Making 135 I think he had to get weighed in twice to make 135. Is that a lack of discipline? People are going to say that that's a lack of discipline. It could well be. It could be also be a combination of the fact that he's really just a big guy. You know, he could, because he's short in stature, he can drain a lot of water off and get him to a smaller weight. But Gervonta Davis is a big guy, man. They call him, I think they call him Tank for a reason. He's built like a tank. He's heavily muscled. He's a big guy. And he may not really be able to make 135 comfortably, 130 comfortably, or 135 comfortably. So while he's still in the middle of a pandemic and he doesn't have those other real big money fights, hey man, Mario grabbing another belt up at 140 could make some sense for Gervonta Davis, right? So he gets another big fight. And that's something that I also think needs to be taken into consideration. But really, it isn't an issue, I don't think, with Gervonta Davis himself, but it is an issue with the strategy of Mayweather Promotions with Gervonta Davis. Leonard Ellerbe, who is the CEO of Mayweather Promotions, has been very, very clear about what his goal is for Gervonta Davis. And his goal for Gervonta Davis and Floyd Mayweather's goal for Gervonta Davis is to put him in as many big fights as he can make. He wants the fight to be as big as it can be. So how do you make fights big? One, they believe in having him fight Mexican fighters. I do believe Mario Barrios is a Mexican from America. If he's not, please forgive me. But I do believe Mario Barrios is Mexican. If he's not, he's definitely of Spanish-speaking origin. And that fits the model that Mayweather Promotions had for Floyd and has for Gervonta Davis, right? That's who he keeps fighting. He fought Leo Santa Cruz. Before that, he fought Yuriorkis Gamboa. The other guys he fought before, Pedraza is the big fight for him. Cuellar is the big fight for him, right? Just there's a lot. Fonseca is a big fight for him. They believe in mixing crowds where you have, because Gervonta Davis is without a doubt the biggest name in black boxing in that weight class for sure. And he has a tremendous following in that he sells out fights in LA. He sold out fights in Texas. He sold out fights in Baltimore, New York, and in Miami. So they may feel like, as far as making big fights, Gervonta Davis is bringing in the black crowd. They want somebody that is going to bring in a different crowd, and Mario Barrios may fit that, right? So that fits along with their desire to make the biggest fights that they can make. Finally, I don't believe that him moving up to 140 is going to prevent him from fighting Teofimo Lopez or fighting Devin Haney at 135, because we've already seen that happen in the past. He fought at 135 against Yuriorkis Gamboa, won that belt, but then he went back down and fought Leo Santa Cruz at 130 and then defended that belt there. And I think he also defended his 135-pound secondary championship in the same fight. So it's not out of possibility, the realm of possibility, that Gervonta Davis will go up to 140, fight Mario Barrios, and then his next fight could be at 135 to defend his belt, right? No doubt at all that is a possibility with Gervonta Davis, again, because he's already done it in the past. So I don't think, long and short of it is, I don't think it's a duck. I do believe that it is an attempt by Floyd Mayweather and Leonard Ellerbe, and rightfully so, to make fights as big as they can for Gervonta Davis, to take advantage of the fanfare that surrounds him. So, and Mario Barrios is the guy, but they very well may be able to go right back down and wait to get the fights that we really want to see in the next one or the next one after that. The only caveat that I have is that it's probably going to be against somebody with a Spanish-speaking name. It's definitely not going to be Devin Haney, because Floyd Mayweather already said that they don't see Gervonta Davis ever fighting Devin Haney. So anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know yours. And with that, I'm out. Peace.